Do you know each other?
No!
No.
Okay, here's
She
the
says
thing.
you know her.
Mariah Carey grew up as the youngest of 3 siblings born to her parents, Alfred and Patricia. She obviously managed to make quite the name for herself over the years thanks to her talent. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for her older sister, Allison, who many people don't even know exists. And the fact that Mariah also treats her like she doesn't exist makes matters even worse. So who is Allison? What's her relationship with Mariah like? And where is she these days? You'll never believe the bizarre tale of Mariah Carey's secret sister. Back when Mariah's parents first got together, the world wasn't as open as it is today. Her dad, Alfred, is a black man, but her mom, Patricia, is a white woman. Interracial marriages were something a lot of people looked down on in those days, and sadly, Mariah's parents' case wasn't any different. No matter how hard they tried to make it work, the pressure on them ultimately ended their relationship, but not before ruining the lives of Mariah and her siblings too. Unlike her siblings, Mariah lived a more sheltered life. This was because she looked more white than mixed. She wasn't subjected to the same amount of hate that Allison and her older brother Morgan got. According to Mariah, she believes that her siblings secretly resented her for this, especially Allison. Mariah dived a little bit into the strange relationship she has with her siblings in her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, which was released in 2020, and she had a lot to say about Allison. Allison was just 11 years old when her parents separated. Afterward, she was sent to live with her father, while Mariah was sent to their mother. All their life, Alfred was always known to be a strict disciplinarian who didn't bend the rules for anyone, including his children. Since Mariah spent a good portion of her childhood with her mother, she didn't get to witness this all the time, and she was only 3 when Alfred and Patricia separated. But Allison got to see what it was really like to live with Alfred in a racist neighborhood. Mariah said that she doesn't know what Allison saw and went through growing up, but whatever it is that happened to her changed her life forever. When Allison turned 16, she left home, but she actually also managed to get pregnant before her 16th birthday. Allison didn't leave home because she wanted to. She left because it was strongly suggested that she get married to the father of her child, and that was exactly what she did. But it didn't end there. After getting married to the father of her child, Allison moved away. Not just to another neighborhood, but to a different country. She moved to the Philippines because her husband was in the military and he was stationed there. Because of this, Allison never got to finish high school. And this was where everything started going downhill for her. With everything that was going on with Allison, Mariah made a vow to herself. She promised herself that she wasn't going to live a crazy life. This is supposedly why she became a very prudish person. Even though she was just 8 years old back then, she knew well enough that she never wanted the kind of life Allison was living. After moving away from her family and spending the rest of her teenage years in a strange country, Allison finally returned home. But her life as she knew it had changed forever by then. According to Mariah, she never found out what happened to Allison while she was over in the Philippines. But when Allison came back home, it was clear to her that she had changed. Whatever remained of the fragile child that she was before she left Long Island was gone. And Allison was now a completely different person. She supposedly used to be a very sweet and nice person, but Allison had hardened so much over the years that she became a stranger to Mariah. Sadly, she also couldn't land a job and was forced to do certain things to get money. According to Mariah, Allison started selling her body as well as some illegal substances, and she went on to do this for years. Mariah also alleged that Allison tried to rope her into this life too. Apparently, when she was just 12 years old, Allison took her to some old man's house. This was a man that their mother had let her guard down around because he'd sometimes fill up their fridge with food. Mariah alleged that Allison gave her something which made her unconscious, but she didn't say if anything happened that very day. And even after this, Mariah still looked up to Allison. Allison was the person who took her to get her first bra and her eyebrow waxed. But no matter how hard they tried to fight for their relationship, Allison apparently kept going back to a really dark place. And this was what finally ruined the relationship between the two of them. The final straw came when Allison allegedly tried to sell Mariah off to her then boyfriend named John. Like before, Allison had allegedly slipped something into Mariah's system and left her alone with John in his car. With Allison nowhere in sight, John started acting inappropriately toward Mariah, and there was no telling what he wanted to do to her. The only reason he wasn't able to do anything was because some random stranger saw them and knew immediately that something wasn't right. After this, John was forced forced to take Mariah home. This marked the last time Mariah gave Allison a chance at them being normal sisters. In the years that followed, Mariah focused all her attention on her music and tried to ignore all the drama she grew up around. Allison, on the other hand, allegedly dived deep into more drama. First, she divorced her first husband. She remarried 5 years later and had her second son. But barely a year after having her second baby, she tested positive for HIV and got a divorce from her second husband the year after that. While all of this was happening to Allison, Mariah released her debut album, and her road to fame became as clear as day. She became a hugely successful artist, and eventually, she obviously published her memoir where she shared all of this. But Allison didn't like that. With everything that was said about her in Mariah's memoir, she sued her sister for $1.25 million. Not just for Mariah's claims of Allison trying to sell her to someone, but also because Mariah alleged that Allison had once poured hot tea on her. The tea was so hot that it supposedly gave Mariah third-degree burns, as the shirt she was wearing practically fused with her skin. But Allison denied ever doing this. According to her, everything Mariah said about her was false, and Mariah had no evidence to back these claims up. Allison claimed that Mariah's memoir worsened her PTSD, which she had been struggling with because of all the trauma she went through growing up. And according to her, instead of Mariah to help pick her up, she kept using her fame to turn the world against her. Last we heard from Allison, she released a video informing the public of the latest struggle she was facing. She lost all her teeth and went into detail about how it was almost impossible for her to live a normal life with no teeth. Even though Allison has come out a lot of times in the past to apologize to Mariah and ask for them to be civil again, so far, nothing has changed. It seems like Mariah is bent on keeping Allison as far away from her as possible. But will she be able to do this forever? What do you guys think? Did you know about Mariah and Allison's crazy alleged history? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below.